Hello viewers and welcome to more Isle of Man TT action. I'm going to be catching up on all those videos I promised. First you can see the assists here. I'm going to be riding, of course, on the Isle of Man. Oh, not the Isle of Man, this is the Tyrone track in Northern Ireland. The easiest. The tracks I'm going to show you are the 3 beginner tracks on the various videos that are going to be coming up on the channel, and then we can see how they increase in challenge and difficulty. I look forward to seeing how difficult they get. So away from the line, and you can see quickly on the power, got a bit of traction control there obviously, a little bit, and I'm going to show all of those assists in a future video and respond to some of your comments here. Firstly, I really like the visuals on the track, nice field of view, nice detail in the scenery, really nice in the way it looks there. And respond to some of your comments as well. A couple of mistakes in the first video. I mentioned in the comments actually at 264, I think it was corners, not circuits, I said. And also I was getting slightly mixed up with the super sport bikes and the super bikes. I meant to say super sport, you're working up the super bike. It's one of those things, you record it and then it's on there. Here we are on the super sport bike here of Michael Dunlop, the Yamaha R6, riding his way around there. Got away with that. I have to say, you have to be quite careful with those curbs, but it can be quite forgiving. I guess for the purist out there, they're not going to like that if you want to be the person who spends years on it. But if you actually just want to play a bike game, then it's more fun. You can fall off the bike very easily though, and I was lucky to get away with that, I can tell you. You do sort of lose control. Same with a tap like that. You know, you've got to be really careful. I was off the power and slowing down. It lets you get away with it. If you're sort of full speed when that happens, you'll just sort of fly off your bike. Now, I've been looking at some of the feedback. I'm going to come back to this on future videos. A lot of people are feeling that the rider sort of leans in too close, too quickly, and they're confusing the animation of the biker with the bike physics. I think that's a confusion that a lot of people can't separate the two, and that's simply because a biker prepares for the corner. It's not all done on the fly. You don't just think turn, turn, turn. That's how it is with a stick. You're like that with a stick. So the fact that there's even some animation there means they're working on it. That's not to say there isn't room for improvement, but there is not an understanding between a lot of viewers between the physics of the bike and the physics of animation. There is no physics, it's the animation of the rider and the physics of the bike. So I guess they've gone for a more rigid handling model, and you could call that more arcade-like in terms of how it works, or it could be more intuitive. The bike goes more where you want it to go. It doesn't understeer into all the corners. So I think there's, you know, in terms of the Ride 2 approach and the approach they got here, the developers recognise each other's games and they can see the model they've gone for. This is more a model of, like I say, drive club bikes. We talk about Manx TT, but it's incredibly limited by today. I guess MotoGP 0910 as it were, 2009, 2010, something like that. But I'm gradually learning this circuit and working my way around. There's still loads more speed to find obviously, but I'm just enjoying it actually. I don't quite understand the people that are saying there's no feeling of speed. For a behind bike view, where there's always less speed behind the vehicle, this is actually one of the best feelings of speed I've seen on a game like this, so I don't really know where people are coming from in that regard. Obviously I've only played it at 60 frames, not at the 30 frames it will potentially be on console, but either way, no problem for me with that. And if you want a bit more feeling of speed, ride from the on-bike view. I'm not very good from riding from on the handlebars. I'm going to talk about that in a future video. I've got a handlebars video coming up and an on-bike view. The game is perfectly playable for me from on the bike. It's sort of the front cam, which is very unusual. But it's a real shame it doesn't have the sort of visor cam you see in the replays. And I'll just sort of show you guys one of the replays here from this particular race. It's funny actually, it still does feel a bit hang-on to me when I start racing with all the other coloured bikes on there. So you've got a range of different views that shows you. I'm not selecting, you can't select any one of these views and stick with it. It's just a rotating camera, which is a bit of a shame because I'd like to have, you know, been able to stick with one viewpoint for the whole race. This is my favourite view cam, and obviously it has a sort of curvature which gives you an enhanced feeling of speed if you want that. And it's a shame that, one, you can't select it in the replay, and you can't select it in the game either, which is a bit of a shame at this stage. I would urge the developers to put that as a selectable camera both in the replay and in the full game play as well. You're getting where, there you go, is that on board. Great feeling of speed with that. And you can see the difference just by changing the viewpoint. Obviously they've added a slight sort of curvature to the view, sort of fisheye in that sense, giving you a bit more. I was slowing down slightly there compared to the other bikes because I didn't know about that bump in the road. It sort of gives you some air. I then went out on the bike of John McGuinness and the bike just flies straight into a wall, so you actually have to brake for that bump, otherwise you just fly completely off. It's just big air basically straight into the wall. And managed to get away with that. It's okay. Look at that, it's super fast. Closing on this guy. And working my way up behind him. So in that sense the bike's very directional. Still takes a bit of learning the courses though. You still need to turn in, get the line right into the corners, understand your speed. Struggling a bit with the slow corners, that's the element where I've got issues with. But we're going to look at all of this handling in more detail in another video. And we're going to try some stuff. We're going to do some wheelies, everything else, see what we can do to try and move the bike around and how it operates differently on different types of braking. Around those last couple of corners and to finish that race. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed another little look at it. More to come. We're going to be looking at the Scotland track, Wales track and the handling in future videos to come in the next few days. Do let me know what you'd like to see in the comments and there'll be more from me very soon.